Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's time for the Warp Zone, our weekly show where we go over the news, the gaming news, and more specifically, the Nintendo Switch news. Now, this week, I've been fighting it forever. I told you guys, I don't like focusing on rumors, but I have to do it. Like, we have to address the new rumors for the Nintendo Switch 2 because, number one, we're like 2 weeks away. Not much else is happening. Let's just be totally honest. Like, digging around for like big stories right now, nothing's bigger than the Nintendo Switch 2. I have like one game announcement that I want to look at, but I especially want to look at the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors because at least two of these rumors I called way before this. And we have proof because I called them on stream. So we're going to look specifically one of these rumors. If it turns out to be right, I think this person must have been watching my stream because even their first reasoning for it is the exact same reason I gave on February 24th. And if it wasn't February 24th, it was the next, the basically next stream, the next Warp Zone following February 24th. So I have to go back to the calendar and look. But on February 24th, I stated something. And if it turns out to be real, and this guy gets all the credit for it, trust me, I'll make a video to show that on February 24th, almost a month, like 2 to 3 weeks before, I had called the exact same shit. So, you know what? It's one of those I was right streams. Yeah, hopefully I'll be right. Hopefully I'll be right. We will know soon. We'll know soon enough. But yes, it is probably the biggest bit of news that we're going to have this year. Because honestly, we're going to get new games. We're going to get new stuff. But nothing's going to beat the Switch 2 launch, in my opinion. Even the famous rumored Xbox handheld console, let's be honest, it's not going to beat the Switch 2 release. I'm happy that more companies are getting into the handheld market because that means that games are going to be focusing on that type of hardware. But it's not going to beat the Switch 2 hype-wise. It might beat the Switch 2 power-wise, but that will be left to be seen. So how is everyone doing tonight? I see we have Tegade already in the chat. Welcome back, my man. Nanaki, Rob German, Champ Dancer. We have Nightbot as usual. Topaz is on my lap right now, being incredibly annoying. If you see me wiggling a little bit, it's because Topaz is basically scratching, like rubbing herself against the my desk, and she's actually it's moving me. Like, hold on, can I get a shot? Like, you can see her right here. You can see her ear. Yeah, there you go, little girl. There you go. But she's basically rubbing her head against the table. Let's get that back up to its regular designated position. But yes, so yeah, it's going to be one of those streams. We're going to go over the rumors. Honestly, I don't know how long it's going to take because it all depends on like how deep we want to go, how much you guys, if you guys have questions, if you have extra input you want to give. At the same time, if there's rumors that I don't address that you saw floating around, do call them out as well. Now, I have four major rumors that I want to take a look at. And yeah, I used to have a 115-pound German Shepherd when I lived with my parents. And yeah, she used to do the same thing. She used to sit on my lap when I was trying to game and stuff. She was like a big baby. You'll DM me all the Canadian signatures? What are you talking about? It's maybe an inside joke that I'm not getting. I'll DM you all the... Hey, we're getting some more people in here. A1's Kilos, Frenchy Mom, Hand Patter, welcome, man. Welcome back. Corey, welcome. By the way, I got another booster box of Arcasia's Island. And honestly, I won't have time to open it on stream. I actually bought more Japanese first chapter boxes. And, you know, just because we're going to get this stuff out of the way. Yes, I did see the new ukulele video. It looks amazing. We're going to be getting it on the Nintendo Switch 2, by the way. They've confirmed it, like, not solidly, like with a release date, but they've pretty much said it's guaranteed. I got a Japanese booster box of first chapter, and I actually pulled a legendary Hades. It is not the best legendary. It is far from it. But I still got a legendary. I mean, enchanted Hades. So it's far from the best enchanted, but it's still an enchanted from first chapter. Honestly, like I'm gonna be doing more booster box openings on the channel. It's just that I've been so swamped with stuff lately that I sort of don't. You know, when I'm doing it on stream, it does take me like 3 times as much time to open up a booster box. And if I just crack the packs open quick and like, you know, do that off stream. But yeah. Rick, look above for my, you got tons of, oh, you went to the Red Wings Canadians alumni game. Awesome, man. Yeah, definitely. Send me those over DMs. Send them on Discord, man. I'll check them out. All the signatures you got, man. For sure. For sure, for sure. Corey says he's ready for me. Awesome. Well, Wild is instigating it again. Yeah, Wild basically said you're gonna kick my ass in Lorcana if we play. That's what he basically said. He didn't say you're gonna beat me. He said you're gonna kick my ass. Like it's not even gonna be close. Not even close. We could there's actually an app for playing them online where you put a camera, and there's even like a streamer mode. But yeah. 100 matches, man. That would be insane. I almost have my deck built now. I'm like missing like 3 cards. I substituted them for other stuff that's not as powerful as the cards I want, but I almost have it. Finally, I'm going to be playing Amber Amethyst. I'm going to go super aggro Amber Amethyst. So I'm looking forward to... I'm going to probably go play on Thursday night. So I'm looking forward to that. Try out the new deck. Like, I've tried it out in simulated games, but like, you know, I want a live one. Yeah, hyper aggro. Yeah, I want to have some fun. I'm building a secondary control deck, but I'm building a Jafar deck. You know, the Jafar A Whole New World deck where you basically like you draw 7 cards. Like every card you draw gets you lore, and you sort of combo out the deck at the end. I'm gonna try and play the new version of the Jafar deck with the new cards, with the new Jafar. Yeah, it looked fun. Like, I want to play a fun deck. I don't want to just play, like, the item deck doesn't look fun. Like, the item deck that is, like, basically the leading deck right now, if you like playing it, no, like, nothing against you. But to me, the gameplay doesn't look fun. Like, to me, it doesn't feel like a fun deck to play. The only thing, you know, the only thing about it is that it plays the new Scrooge McDuck, and I love that card. Like, I love the art on that card. The new Scrooge McDuck card is, like, my favorite one by far so far of all of them. Yeah, it's a pretty good week of games. We're honestly, though, there's only 7 games we're going to look at today, but there are 2, let me just see. I would say, like, 2 major games. However, one I've seen already might be having some performance issues on the Switch. Yes, exactly. And it's about time. Like I said, I'm not a rumors channel, but it is about time that we address most of them. So let's get into it, guys. Okay, let's get into it. Hey, NDJ, welcome back, man. Welcome back, my man. And Jose as well. Missed you too in there. I think I got everyone. If I didn't, sorry, but I'll. Well, once kilos, I got. Welcome, my man. Squirrel is not here yet. At least I haven't seen her in the chat. So, okay, let's shift over. We're going to start with one quick game announcement because it looks freaking amazing. Well, amazing. Like, it looks really fun, okay? It's not going to be like a major groundbreaking game, but it is definitely a game that is the genres that I like. It looks like a Game Boy Advance game, basically. So we're going to start with this trailer. Let me just make sure all the audio stuff is set correctly really quick. Yeah, we should be good. And I think my trailer, yeah, it's maxed. So we should be good. So basically, this is a game that was just it just got a release date and console announcement. It is Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, which looks like a Game Boy Advanced era Zelda type adventure, but with a definite twist. Like, it doesn't just look like a Zelda copy. Obviously, to me, top-down action adventure evokes a lot of Zelda here, but you'll see through the gameplay, it also does a very different iteration of it. So let's take a look at the trailer to start things off. Then we will jump into the Switch rumors. This is the one trailer I wanted to look at, and I had to because it looks too much fun, like too much fun. Hope has been a pain in the butt again. I love the humanoid, like, mice type characters. And some look like mice, some look like insects almost. And the yo-yo attacks sends me back to Star Tropics, man. Star Tropics, one of those series that, like, honestly should eventually get remade. You guys are seeing, right, the Zelda inspiration? It almost makes me feel a bit like Mina the Hollower, the game we haven't got yet. The music's too loud compared to my mic. I'll lower it. That should be better. Yeah, Star Tropics, exactly. Especially the yo-yo attacks like that. So May 28th, we're going to get it. And guess what? There is a demo available. So I didn't check if the demo's available on the eShop, or if it's available, or if it's only available on Steam. But one way or another, we're going to play it, okay? We're also going to play, I still haven't forgotten, Beach Boys 3. By the way, there's Beach Girls 3 that came out this week. We're not going to be featuring it later, but I do want to mention that Beach Girls 3 is out. So had we waited, I could have played the Beach Girls version of the game, okay? But we would have been missing out on the pink nipples. So I guess we chose the right version of the game. But so I haven't forgotten about that. We'll find some time. I want to play that demo, and I definitely have to play the turn-based Ninja Turtles demo as well, because you had to go there. Exactly. I don't think we're going to get the pink nipples with the Beach Girls, unfortunately. But yes, but what was I saying? Oh yes, the turn-based. They came out with a turn-based tactical Ninja Turtles game. It actually looks freaking amazing, and it's rumored to be coming for the Nintendo Switch 2. It's supposed to be coming for the Nintendo Switch 2. Doesn't have a release date or anything solid yet, but I definitely want to play the demo on Steam because it's looking pretty freaking good. Okay, now that we have that little announcement out of the way, let's start with the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. And we're going to start with what for me are the least exciting rumors, because to me these are, I don't want to say givens, but to me it's like zero surprising, and anyone that's surprised by this just hasn't been watching the patterns for like the last like 7 years. Okay? So once again, a Switch 2 GameCube controller rumor resurfaces following a new Nintendo filing. So this is a article courtesy of Nintendo Life. I say it every time. Any articles I use here, sites are amazing. You can go check out the original articles on the websites themselves. Now, the GameCube generation ended years ago, but the controller for the system is still popular choice for many Nintendo enthusiasts. This controller is a really weird controller, but I've got to say it, there is a certain, when you're playing the right game with this controller, it feels freaking amazing. Smash Brothers is the exact example for it. If you play with a controller like this, the feeling is just freaking amazing. And the proof is that many companies have recreated this controller over and over again. I actually have never gotten around to reviewing it, but I have the Nixie Smash controller. Give me a second. They actually sent me 3 of these controllers. They sent me the controller in all 3 colors from Nixie. And I've been wanting to review it. I just honestly haven't gotten around to it because we have other stuff to focus on, but like a Bluetooth wireless controller. So obviously it's not the same. It looks more like a Wavebird controller, if you know what the Wavebird controller is. But the point being that simply companies have continued to copy the controller. There's a reason for that. It just feels great when you're playing the right kind of game. However, I am going to admit the muscle memory can be very difficult when you're playing the wrong kind of game as well. I would say racing games also feel excellent on this controller, especially if you can remap the gas button to the A button. It feels perfect. With the brakes on the B button, if you have like a turbo on the Y button, like basically it's perfectly set up for like games that have a strong focus on 2 buttons with the occasional use of like a secondary button. But ultimately, let's get back to the story though, because I could talk about the GameCube controller for a long time. A new FCC filing by Nintendo for a game controller has recently gone live. The model number prefix attached is BEE, matching up with the Nintendo Switch 2. So BEE generally matches up with accessories and things related to Switch 2. One other bit of information suggests that it will be a wireless Bluetooth controller, and attached are some basic images. Now, this is where the rumor part kicks in. So some detectives on Famine boards are suggesting that one of the images is showing a label. Where's my mouse? Is showing a label location on the rear of the controller that matches up with the back of the GameCube controller where the C stick is located. So the label right here that they're showing basically on the basic boards. If you've never seen FCC filings, the shapes are extremely like all rectangles, all circles, basically weird ass things. So ultimately, what this leads to is that the possibility of the filings being a Switch 2 Pro controller has apparently been ruled out because it doesn't have NFC support. So we know that this filing theoretically can't be the official Pro controller because NFC has been confirmed for the Nintendo Switch 2. However, the controller doesn't have NFC. So there's no way Nintendo would make a new Pro controller without NFC. So this is obviously going to be a secondary controller. And if you have been following, like I said, the last 7 years, when they remade the NES controllers, when they remade the SNES controllers, when they remade the Nintendo 64 controllers, none of those had NFC compatibilities because they basically are working, or they're specifically made for systems that don't really use the NFC technology in any way. And basically, ultimately, the fact is also that the wireless Bluetooth controller has led to speculation that this controller could possibly have links to the Nintendo Switch Online service. Now, this is where it becomes a really weird thing, however. This is where I'm trying to think what Nintendo actually wants to do here, okay? And they go on, as I just said, to say that Nintendo has reworked other classic controllers, including wireless models with USB-C connections and charge cables. And these are typically controllers used for Super Smash Bros. Now, Nintendo's current online subscription service includes NES, SNES, N64, Sega Genesis, and Game Boy libraries, including Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and the original Game Boy. Now, here's what I find weird. GameCube remakes has been a treasure trove for Nintendo. So the fact that they would put an online service with GameCube games on it, to me, does feel a little weird. And I know people have been assuming that we will get GameCube eventually, but what I've always said from a strategy marketing perspective is it does feel weird when a major part of the original Switch's first party library has been GameCube remakes. Like, Nintendo has been, Thousand Year Door, the Super Mario 3D collection, which was Wii, GameCube mixed in together, Metroid Prime remastered, I'm sure if I go through my collection, we'll find a bunch more. Like, at least I know they've done at least like 3 or 4 more GameCube remakes. So I do find it weird that they'd start offering those games for free through an online service. However, on the other hand, I will admit the remakes are not the original games. Like, the GameCube game is not in full HD, meaning that if they release them for free on the service, you will have the option of playing like the old version with non-HD graphics versus paying for the full HD version. You understand what I mean? So that could be their logic behind that. And to be totally honest, it isn't totally out of the question, because there are other games currently on the online services that have had remakes, and you can play the original versions on the service. For example, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, there's the Game Boy Advanced version, and there's the remake. So the version that they've remade is actually available on the online service as well. And it doesn't seem to have really affected too much the prices of these games. Specifically, there's basically big graphical upgrades to the remakes. I would say maybe the one that would feel the closest to the original would be Thousand Year Door, because of the cartoony art style. But even that, when you play the remake and you go back to playing the original, you will feel the difference between the HD versus the 4:3 screen. So that could maybe be the logic behind Nintendo. Why are we talking? We're not going to get back into that right now, Wild One. But basically, I do think that that could be the logic that they're trying to follow here. That even though they're going to give the free GameCube versions of the games, the HD remakes are still going to be worth it for someone who wants to play in HD, while still giving an extra value to the online service. But I'm going to say that it's the first time that the upgrade to the online service, to me, feels like a weird move for Nintendo. At least until, like, maybe the majority of the GameCube library has been remade, if that makes any sense. Because once the games are available for free, putting out the remakes after that are going to feel even weirder. Does anyone follow me on that? Like, wouldn't that feel weird? Like, let's imagine you could have played Thousand Year Door for free, and then they make a remake of Thousand Year Door on the same system, it would feel weird. I agree. There are a lot of GameCube games that will never get remakes that they could port over as well. And they could always, delay the release of any game that the remaster hasn't been made yet that they plan on making. But I think that would hamstring the collection seriously, on the other hand. But like I said, I wanted to get this out of the way because apparently we are going to be getting a GameCube controller to make a comeback. And I'm happy to see it. Problem is, like I said, is that many companies have already made remakes of this controller, and they've remade them in a better way. Because one big thing that people forget about the original GameCube controller is that there were not 4 shoulder buttons. There were actually 3 shoulder buttons, 1 on each side, plus the extra purple button at the front, which I forget what the name of the button is. I think it's the Z button, but my memory is a little foggy on the original controller. While something like the Nixie controller having 4 buttons at the back means that it'll be compatible with most modern games if you do want to use it as an everyday controller. You have a Wii U adapter and it works on the Switch. Yeah, and I have an adapter. I can use my GameCube controller. I have an original one too. And it is. I just confirmed it is the Z button because I have my my original GameCube. One of my original GameCube controllers, and see 2 buttons at the back and the Z button that's up here at the front. There's adapters. It's like I said, it's just that there's if you try to play a modern game that uses 4 back buttons, you'll have trouble. You'll have a lot of trouble trying to use a GameCube controller, the original one. You'll have to do some funky button remapping or something like that. Yeah, and the Z button is poop. It doesn't feel good to use on a regular basis. If you have to use it a lot, it doesn't feel good. Okie dokie. So, like I said, we started with one of the smaller rumors. Next, we're actually going to jump to probably one of the biggest rumors. Because it's the one I want to spend the most time on, and I want to have the most energy when I talk about this. Because this dude got an article even on Nintendo Life on this post. When I talked about this shit 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So, you know what? Nintendo Life needs to start watching my stream. So, Thunder Stash Gaming made a post that really got picked up and got a lot of traction. And he said, anyone who watches my stream will remember that this is the date I said. The more pieces we put together, the clearer the picture becomes that May 15th is shaping up to be the perfect launch date for the Nintendo Switch 2. Who remembers my stream from 2 to 3 weeks ago? Where I said this exact same goddamn thing. Where I said if I had money to put on a date right now, the date I would most likely put money on is May 15th. Okay? Yeah, it's a tome of a tweet. We're going to go through it, okay? And the best part is this isn't just speculation. No insider sources, no leaks, just logic, patterns, and solid research from the community. Let's break it all down. Yeah, the community, me, I said this. I'm like half pissed, okay? Like I'm not really pissed, but I am like, dude, I said this, and when I said it, it got 0 traction. And now it's like, hey, Holy Grail, and look what the first major reason is. Doom: The Dark Ages drops on May 15th. What did I say would be a perfect third-party launch title? What did I say would be Brenda replay Rick as dude like it's because I'd have to remember what part of the stream it is, but I will. If I make a video about it, I will put the replay in the video. Okay, a part of me wanted to do it, but I really didn't have time to go and rewatch a 3-hour stream to remember when I addressed this on the stream. But let's go back. I jumped ahead. I've been saying this for months on the Nintendo Byte podcast. I believe that Nintendo would be wise to go for a much shorter gap between their full reveal and launch. I do too. That's what I said. I said Nintendo, the smartest thing they could do is strike while the iron is hot. Get the hype to the max level and then just launch the goddamn thing. Okay? Just look at the iPhone 16. Apple unveiled it on September 9th of 2024, and the consumers had it by September 20th. We live in an instant gratification society where people want things now, not months later. Nintendo already confirmed months in advance the date for the major Switch 2 Direct, April 2nd. So why wait months to launch the Switch 2? We need to strike while the hype is at its peak. This is like contextually almost exactly what I was saying. Drop the Dark Ages on the Switch 2. Nintendo platforms have a long history with Doom. From the red cartridges on the SNES to Doom 64, even Doom Eternal on the Switch. Every major Doom release is currently available on Nintendo Switch, and I've said it many times before, I expect Microsoft to be a biggest third-party publisher on the Nintendo Switch 2. I said that as well. I said that Microsoft is going to go balls to the wall on the Nintendo Switch 2. And that's why I said that when Nintendo, if you remember, this is exactly what I said 2 weeks ago. I said, when Nintendo said that software was not ready for the Switch 2 launch, I don't think they were talking about first-party Nintendo software. They were talking about third-party software. And what is the biggest gaming company and the developer in the world that would have enough pull to make Nintendo convinced to line up a date with a release of a game? The only third-party developer other than like Pokemon Company and Nintendo themselves would be Microsoft. Especially if Microsoft has like signed up to have every major release come out on the Switch 2. Okay? Number 2, Nintendo Switch 2 experience, event timing, and strategic break. This pissed me off because I said that last week when we looked at the stupid Mario Kart. I said this last week, the day before this tweet came out, which is why I said, like, dude, is this a viewer? Does he watch the stream? Like, maybe he enjoys my stream and he just... or maybe we're just great minds that think alike and we came to the exact same logical conclusion. That could be possible too, okay? I'm getting ahead of myself. The Nintendo Switch 2 experience event timing strategic break. The Nintendo Switch 2 experience runs from April 4th to May 11th across major Switch 2 launch regions before taking a 20-day break between the 20th and the 31st in Seoul. And I remember I talked about this as well. I found it very odd that May 11th they're cutting it off, but they're starting it back at the end of May. Why? Because the Nintendo Switch 2 experience will no longer be like play the console before it's out. It's going to become play the console that just released. You know what I mean? Then, we have the Mario Kart releasing on May 15th. I said this last week. We're not going to go over the whole thing. The big new Mario Kart Lego is May 15th. I said it would be a great event for Lego and Nintendo to line both things up on the same day. Okay? And lastly, and this exact I saw last week, and in my mind, I was like, dude, May 15th again. The San Francisco store for Nintendo opens on May 15th. What would be a better launch event for your second store in the US than on top of it, the store opening for the launch of the new console? I swear to God, like everything's lining up. And the thing is, I do think that in 2 weeks we're gonna get the exact launch date. And I swear to God, if it's May 15th, I'm making a video where I pull out every time on stream I said May 15th, starting on February 24th. And people are gonna need to give some answers here. Okay? But no, I'm just saying, like, if you put the pieces together, May 15th has a lot of Nintendo shit going on. A lot. And it is very odd, just so you know, it is very odd for Lego to launch a set on the 15th. It's not impossible. It has happened, okay? But Nintendo generally launches most of their big sets for the first of the month. The first of each month is the release of the sets for Lego. So that for them to release on the 15th is a little odd as a date. And generally it's because it's requested by whatever property Lego's associated with. Whew. And lastly, massive. This I really didn't know because I didn't follow this part. But massive Switch 2 shipments spotted. A recent report from Necrolipe, based on data surveyed by the FamiBoards user LIC, reveals that in January 2025, Nintendo contracted assembly plant in Vietnam exported around 383,000 complete Switch 2 units exclusively to North America, which is US and Canada. This confirms that mass production is well underway, adding even more weight to throwing evidence for a May 15th launch. And it is funny that they're using the Vietnam plant because, you know, not getting into the conversation, but the tariffs, Nintendo will be able to skirt the tariffs because they're not made in China, they're made in Vietnam. So they're not going to have to, most likely, and that's most likely why they chose this plant to provide the North American 2 Switches. I just heard that this plant is smaller, however, so hopefully they'll be able to tune out enough devices for the demand. And then he's talking about Donkey Kong Country coming out on May 22nd, but we're moving away from May 15th. I just like anything that's happening directly on May 15th. Dude, you know what would be even funnier? If the release date is November 7th. Who can guess why it would be freaking insane if the release date would be November 7th? I'm going to give you guys a chance in the chat to see who knows the maple syrup gaming and tech lore the best. Who's a lore master for maple syrup gaming and tech? Why would a November 7th release date be an epic date? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Nah, man, it's my birthday. November 7th is my birthday. Yeah, Frenchie Mom got it. And I know she got it with the stream delay. It's guaranteed she wrote it before I said it. It is my birthday. November 7th. So imagine if it came out on my birthday. That would be amazing. It would be amazing, but less amazing than if it came out on May 15th. Because I'd rather be right than have it come out on my birthday, and I'd rather have the Switch like 6 months ahead of time. Yeah, 6 months ahead of time than have to wait till my birthday. Nope, not 44 this year. Not 44. Bonus points if so. Well, so you guys are just going to type every number till someone gets it. Like bonus points to whoever gets it. The 15th. Yeah, exactly. I'm turning 30, guys. Come on. It's the big 30. Frenchie mom got it again. 43. Big 43, man. Ugh, dude. Soon I'm going to have to say I'm mid-40s instead of early 40s. I'm an old fart, man. It's crazy. See, and he added a bunch of people. Where's the @Maple, like Rick MSGT? Rick MS Gaming. Where's the @MS Gaming? You took all the information from me. Huh? By the way, if ever he does watch, I just want him to know I'm joking. Like, and if he did watch the stream and got the information here, it's all good, man. It's just funny that this got so much traction when I said this like 2 weeks earlier and no one was listening. Man, I need to get a better Twitter community. We need to boost the Twitter community. That's where we can get things like rolling. I'm not old. No, I'm not old. I'm like a fine wine. I get better with age. Dude, every time lately, Topaz has been losing a lot of hair. It's getting warm. So when she lays on me, like I keep having to scratch my nose because you guys can't see it, but like I've got like fur like falling off of her like the whole time, and it's like it's making it in. I'm not allergic, but it's just basically tickling my nose because I've got like fur flying up from her pelt. Yeah, you freaking cat. But anyway, so that is the most likely date that I've been saying for a while. Really is May 15th. I do think it is the most date. Yeah. You're right. I don't post enough. I retweet a lot of stuff, but I don't post a lot of stuff directly out. That's maybe something I have to do, but I'm like, I don't post in a eye-catching way, I guess, because I'm a little bit too dry with my information. I need to find a better way to post the stuff on Twitter. I don't have like the Twitter vibe, you know. But I would say I repost at least 2-3 things a day, but I don't do fresh posts or right. I don't post like fresh stuff because, yeah, it's the way it is. I'm just not like, I'm not a sort of, when I go to say something, I'd rather do it in a video than that is it. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to our next rumor. Next rumor concerning the Switch 2 was put out by the Kiwi Talks podcast. And he tweeted, this is like the tweet because we're not going to listen to the podcast. It's a long podcast. But basically he was saying that in his opinion, Nintendo and Retro are really keeping their cards close to their chest, and Metroid Prime 4 is going to get a true unveiling that will blow everything else out of the water at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. So he is basically saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct will have like a technical Marvel demo, sort of like what Breath of the Wild did for the first Switch. But for the Switch 2, it will be Metroid Prime 4. And that the footage we've seen so far is nothing compared to what we're going to see on April 2nd, because we're going to see basically the Switch 2 version of the game. Because what he's thinking is that there will be a significant difference between the Switch 2 and the Switch 1 version of the game. And it will be really a technical, like, a tech demo. Like, the game is going to be both a great game, but also a tech demo for the Nintendo Switch 2. And they're planning on Metroid Prime 4 to be this console's Breath of the Wild system seller. The one thing that I disagree with that slightly is I'm not sure Metroid even though it's gone a long way in the last, like, I would say 4 to 5 years. I'm not sure it has the pull of a Zelda title. I'm not sure it's going to have the pull of a Zelda title. I do think it's going to be the best-selling Metroid title ever. I agree with Wild One on that one. I just think it's going to pale in comparison to something like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, or like, Mario Kart. Personally, if I had my money on what game will be like the showcase game for the Switch 2, I would go with Mario Kart 10 or Mario Kart 9, whatever they're going to call it. I think they're going to put their money behind Mario Kart more than Prime. Or it'll be a split type of demo where we're going to get a big gameplay demo for Prime 4 and Mario Kart. Because Prime is a great, don't get me wrong, I love Prime. I love Metroid and I love Metroid Prime. Personally, I'm more of a 2D Metroid fan. Not going to anger anyone out there, but I'm more of a 2D Metroid fan. But I've got to say that Prime was one of the best 3D adaptations in a Metroidvania genre that I've ever seen outside of like a Zelda action-adventure game. But I do think it will. I'm almost guaranteed it'll be a launch title. I'd be super surprised if it wasn't. But like I said, I think Mario Kart will be the big push. We already saw, even in the Nintendo spoiler, the only gameplay footage they really included was Mario Kart. I think that is pretty telling. And I think we're going to see like possibly 16 people playing together Mario Kart. Do you know what I mean? We're going to see like a shit ton of people being able to play together at the same time Mario Kart. I wouldn't even be surprised if you can play like 4 players per Switch in groups of 4. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even be surprised if that's going to be like a thing online. And I think we're going to find that these servers that Nintendo invested in was majorly to push the online gaming for the Switch 2. Because Nintendo invested majorly in servers, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. And yes, we did get better online games and better stuff, but not as much as, like, not enough to validate how much Nintendo put into those servers. And I think it's going to be to push the online portion of the Switch 2. I think a big part is going to be that. I think we're going to see the best online gaming we've ever seen from Nintendo for the next system. The playtest thing, I think, was just for the Switch 2. The playtest thing was just you could actually try the Switch 2. So I'm not sure what game you got to play. I don't remember if they said what game you got to play. But I wouldn't be surprised that it wouldn't be like a tech demo type of game or something like that. Like, a Wii Sports type of like mini game or something like that shows off the special features of it. I would not be surprised. Give me a sec, guys. I'm not allergic, but the topaz fur is still getting to me. I'm gonna have to get some better ventilation down here soon. Well, it's getting warm enough that I can soon open up the windows down here. I need a change of air down here. It's been like all winter with the same crappy air. So time for a change. So this one we're going to go through quickly, but I wanted to still highlight this one because it is one of those other rumors that came out over the last week, circulating a lot, got a lot of traction. And I agree with it in part, but I disagree that it's going to be the big tech demo. Simply because I don't think Nintendo is going to bank on Prime being their system seller. Especially when Mario Kart's been their system seller for like the last like 8 years. Like I'm not going to say Breath of the Wild didn't do extreme heavy lifting, but Mario Kart's been like the top selling game in a lot of regions for like the last 8 years. Like what the heck? Like how do you not go with that series? Okay. And the last rumor I wanted to go over that they talked about for the Switch 2 so far is that AI upscaling has been confirmed, which once again is something I've been saying for like the last 6 months. I said that AI upscaling is the only way you get to have a handheld console that can perform much better than the Switch 1 without getting massive power draw and having battery problems like the Steam Deck. I've been saying this. There's no way around it, guys. There is no way around it in the sense that, and what I love is this is demonstrating another thing that I talked about. Because a lot of people were focusing on a 1080p game being upscaled to 4K. But what I told them is that's not what they're going to be doing. They're going to be downscaling current games that won't be able to run on the hardware and then upscaling it to 1080p. The best example that I can think of Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds is beating up mid-ranged video cards on a desktop computer. Okay? It's beating them up. There's no way a handheld system on a chip is going to run that game natively at even 1080p with no issues. Okay? The only way they can do it is by downscaling the game, let's say to 720p, or we're going to see here in the demo that they have here, it's even downscaling it to 540p. And then basically using the AI upscaling to get the 1080p image. It can if they use this technology. I'm telling you, NDJ, because if you're trying to render Wilds at 540p, a crap ass system can do that. Guaranteed. A crap system can do it. Oh yeah, natively 100%. Agree with you there 1,000,000%. And that's what I was saying. Natively, there's no way a system on a chip can render that game unless it gets optimized up out of their a-hole, man. Okay? Like it would have to get optimized in a way like, some voodoo magic, man, that like they did for like Doom Eternal. But basically, Nintendo filed a patent with the USPTO, so the patent office, on March 13th over the Switch 2's technologies. The new patent covered how AI-based upscaler would be used in-game. Nintendo's patent demonstrated upscaling a handheld mode that converted 540p to 1080p. Guys, this is like 540p is like nothing. Okay? Like nothing. And more details about the Switch 2 will be revealed in the Nintendo 2 Direct. But this, I'm going to tell you, is going to be let Nintendo do some crazy magic with games that you never thought could run in handheld without being, like, having serious issues. Now, will this provide the most honest and perfect image possible? Obviously not. Okay? But it'll still be, for a handheld system, the best overall option. Because I'm telling you right away, if you try to put hardware that has higher performance than a Steam Deck in a Switch 2, you're going to eat through the battery in like no time at all. Not meaning that the Switch 2 won't still be extremely powerful. It'll just be extremely powerful for a handheld system. So the patent listed a 540 image as an example of how the AI upscaler could be used, like NVIDIA DLSS or AMD FSR. The Switch 2's AI upscaling would run the rendered image through a neural network and reorganize it. The result of Nintendo's example image would be output of 1080p, double the resolution of the original render with higher frame rates than a full render. So what this will manage is that we might actually get 60p games on the Switch 2 as well. However, the patent did not state the impact on upscaling would have on battery life or if higher resolutions could be used with the Switch 2 dock model. Because don't forget that when you're patenting something, you just give a demonstration of how the technology works. So this doesn't mean that it couldn't also be used to upscale a less performant, like a less demanding game from 1080p to 4K. I'm just going to re-say this. I don't think that the Switch 2 is going to be a 4K geared system. If we get any games at 4K, it is going to be the exception to the rule, not the rule itself. And if you can't deal with that, you're not meant for handheld gaming. Like, you're not meant for a hybrid system. However, if the dock has a secondary rendering chip in it, then I could see it working. However, only in docked mode. Either way, I'm telling you right away, handheld 4K, completely useless. Completely useless. The screen is too small. You're not going to tell, you'll hardly tell the difference at all. I'm not going to say that if you don't take like a magnifying, like an eyeglass and put the screens side by side, you won't see a difference. I'm talking naked eye, mid gameplay. If you're at 1080p on a 7-inch screen or an 8-inch screen, or you're at 4K, you'll notice an overall difference if you really pay a lot of attention, but it's not going to diminish your overall experience. My God, man. Topaz is making my nose go crazy tonight. So I found this to be, from a technical perspective, this is the biggest interesting information out there. Although to me, it's a zero surprise. It was a zero surprise because it was guaranteed that this is where we were going. Now, like I said, the biggest surprise for me is, will the dock do more upscaling for the Switch than when it's in handheld mode? That is, to me, going to be the last secret that we need to, that we're going to have to wait probably till April 2nd to figure out. But I do think that the Switch 2 dock is going to do more heavy lifting than the Switch 1 dock. I don't think it's going to be like just a bare bones, like, you know what I mean? Like visual pass through like it is now. I think the dock for the Switch 2 is going to do some serious heavy lifting, maybe have a secondary processor in there, do some upscaling for the system. Not obviously a full chip, just a secondary like upscaler. You know, like the people that have the 4K upscalers that you plug into the HDMI cable, the dock might have a similar type of chip built into it, basically. Topaz, hey, how you doing? What's up? Yes, I know. So are you coming to drive my nose crazy a bit more? Yeah, that's what you're doing? Okay. Price guest, I'm still saying 450. I'm still saying 450. I would say 450 US. Canadian, we're probably going to be paying close to 600 for it. I would say like 579. I'm thinking that like if I had to guess, I know a lot of people are hoping for 400. Look, if they pull off 400, great, but I don't see Nintendo doing it. Nintendo never uses a loss leader strategy. I why would they sell one without a dock? I don't think they would sell one without a dock. Like it would have to be a really funky concept. Yeah, I don't think like Nintendo has only historically. I checked this out. Okay, historically, Nintendo has only used a loss leader strategy in 2 occasions, and both occasions is because the system was not selling well and was failing. Do you know when those only 2 occasions were? The Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. Other than that, Nintendo has always made a profit from their systems. Yeah, but I would think, I'll be honest with you, champ. I think Nintendo is okay with, how can I say this? If people were paying like $600 for a PlayStation 5, there's no way you can convince me that if the system is 450 instead of 400, a bunch of people are going to say, no, I'm not buying it. And look, some of you might say, I'm in that boat. I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to say, if you would poll 100,000 players that want to buy the Switch 2, the number of players that will say that if it's 450 instead of 400, I'm not buying the system is going to be minute. And to me, Nintendo is going to do the same strategy they did with the Switch 1. We most likely will get a handheld only version like 2 or 3 years after the release of the original one. Although, to be honest, I don't think the Switch Lite was as successful as Nintendo thought it was going to be. Because I think a lot of people are using the logic that I'm using right now, where they're saying, I can get an extra $100 and my system does both things. You know what? I'll just pay the extra $100. Like the PlayStation 5, like without a like digital only models were staying on the shelves while models with a CD drive were flying off. I know at one point people were buying them no matter what because it's the only thing they could get. But when you're already gonna pay $500 to $600 for like if you're gonna pay between $400 to $600 for a console, an extra $50 at that point isn't the make or break it decision maker. If you think about it, it's less than the price of a game. Now, if they push it to 500, that's where I can see people starting to be like, oh, wait a second. This is only $100 less than the PlayStation 5. You know, like, but it's not the same system, but, you know, people will start comparing them directly power-wise. And that's what Nintendo has to be careful. They have to not put themselves in a position where the price makes people compare the systems one-to-one to each other. And I think that that's why the Switch had such success as well, is that the price point always made it that you could forgive the lower power, not only just because you got the hybrid concept, but because there was PlayStation was costing 50% more than the Switch on average. And 50% is even lowballing it. Like a PlayStation 5 was close to double a Switch. So you're like, well, I'm paying half price. Obviously, it's normal that the system isn't as powerful as the other one. You understand what I mean? It's exactly. If we're just talking about like a marketing strategy, you know, like I said, I hate to bring like, well, I hate, but I've been doing it a lot. I try to not bring like, hey, I know this because my normal job has a lot to do with this, but like my normal job has a lot to do with pricing and you know and whatnot and all that stuff. So you have to be, you know, you purposefully price things to not compete directly with a competitor that you don't know you can beat. And mental and the expectation is a lot of stuff. Sorry guys, just taking a quick look at something. Okay, but that was the last bit of Switch rumors we had for today. Was the AI upscaling pretty much confirmed now through a patent that Nintendo put on, showing how the basically resolution of a game could be doubled through AI upscaling. And there was a image of this somewhere. Let me just see. I think this is it. It's in the tweet. Yeah, that's it. So as you can see, this is basically the dot matrix, but just to be understand, like this 540 could be switched to 720 and you could end up with an image that would be 1440. You understand? Like, and they don't have to patent each rendering individually. They just have to show how the neural network gets from point A to point B. So it basically takes a 540 image, prepares the image, inputs data, reorganizes it, reorganizes the matrix. Then the AI does its job. In my opinion, the reason it goes through twice the matrix is the AI is sort of checking its data itself. It's checking itself for mistakes and taking the best outcome in the image and then putting basically 1080p data. But look, this is a little bit outside of my wheelhouse of specialty. Because this takes this takes about 4 times less computing power from the system itself. Because basically the visual processor that's processing like the original image is often not necessarily the same chip that is doing the upscaling. And the upscaling itself takes a lot less actual processing power to get there. So it basically lets you cheat a resolution out with a much lower power device. I'm trying to find a comparison in real life, but well, ideologically, it's the same thing as using a pulley to lift something that's very heavy. Can I lift 300 pounds? Sure. I can bend down, grab 300 pounds and try to lift it up. Or I can use a pulley system and only need to exert about 50 pounds of force to make sure that even my wife can do it. Do you understand what I mean? So I deadlift about 4 to 450, but that's a side note. But no, but do you understand what I mean when I say what a wife does? Is that if you go with rendering the native render, that means only huge processors and only a PS5 can do it. However, if you use AI upscaling, that means that the same game will be able to run on the Switch, on the Xbox Series S, and on PS5. However, the PS5 will render it natively, and the Switch will upscale it from a lower weight. Does that make sense? So basically, overall, you're basically giving the system a pulley. And in the end, both systems are going to be able to lift the 300 pounds. Just one's going to be able to do it out of brute force, and the other one's going to be able to do it out of engineering. Does the analogy work now? I think it does. And I came up with that on the fly. So I had to piece that stuff together. You get back pains just lifting weights. I've been on a fitness journey. I might share some of it with you guys this summer once it's over. Although all the beer I've been drinking lately has been setting me back somewhat. And when I say all of the beers, like I drink like 5 beers a week. Like, you know, I'm not a big drinker, but I mean it is empty calories. Don't blame the beer. You never blame the beer. It's never the beer's fault. It's the beer can never be wrong. No, but I invested in like I know it's stupid, but like I got a indoor grill and cuz grilling food, like gets a lot of the juices and the fat out more than frying food. Um and I realized that in the summer I grill a lot of stuff and we eat better in the summer because grilling is like okay, you could make the argument that if you're grilling on charcoal, the whatever the chemical that comes out of the charcoal can be bad if you eat it too often. But most of the time I'm grilling either way on with propane. But grilling is way better on average, like for eliminating fat content, like carcinogenics. Thank you. So I grill with propane most of the time, but basically I got like an electric indoor grill, so I can start actually grilling food on the inside. And it's true because like your fat pan, like my indoor grill, every time I make like steaks or chicken or whatnot, my fat pan, man, has like crazy amounts of like like juices in it and fat in it. I know it's not a real grill, but it still has the same effect where it leaves char marks, and most importantly is that the fat drips off. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't stay in the food. I agree with you once kilos. That's why I have a propane grill and I have a charcoal grill. However, if like I'll give you an example, if I'm just cooking like 6 hot dogs, I'm not going to start the charcoal grill. You know what I mean? Like the trouble for starting the charcoal, setting it up, cooking the hot dogs, and then waiting for it to burn out is too much trouble for like 6 hot dogs. However, if I'm having like people over and I'm grilling burgers for like 10 people or 12 people, obviously then I do the charcoal because it tastes freaking way better. Are we talking about the George Foreman lean, mean, fat reducing grilling machine trademark? No, we're not talking. No endorsement, by the way. No endorsements. No grills. I'm not endorsing any specific grill. However, if you want me to endorse a grill, my email is maplesyrupgamingandtech@gmail.com. Contact me. We'll talk money, and then I can endorse your grill. Um, it can be bad if you eat a lot of it. Okay, I don't want to like I'm not going to overhype this stuff because I believe if you dose it well, I don't think there's any negative effects. But if you're like eating charcoal grilled food like every day, I think in the end it can become problematic because there are carcinogens in the charcoal, like it's in the process of the charcoal degradation and whatnot. It releases apparently carcinogens, which is part of the stuff that gives it the good taste, but whatever. Rick MSG grill coming soon. Mine is signed. You with your signed stuff. Okay. Either way, so basically that was the last of the Switch 2 rumors. And hopefully, I mean, I think we're done now. I think it's time for just to wait till the Switch 2 comes out now. And I know I said it last week that we were at that point, but I did find that the stuff this week was interesting enough, especially because it was pretty much stuff that I've been saying for like a good 3 to 6 months for some of this stuff. And Like it's been basically confirmed, but to me, it's like you didn't need to confirm it because it just makes too much sense that it would not be that. Okay. One quick also update before we jump into like the new games and stuff. There is one thing I do want to update on the channel. I've been saying it a little while, views are down for Switch stuff. It's normal. People are excited about the Switch 2. It's not my channel alone. Every Switch channel out there, views are down from what they normally are. Okay? So this is not like, oh, boo-hoo, views are down. It's just general information explaining where we're going. But just to let you know, like views are about half of what they normally are currently. What that also means, however, is that for the first time ever, I've been giving away more gift card money than the eShop deal videos have actually been making me. Okay? Because once you put taxes into it, and look, it's no, like, yes, it's going to be a little pop behind the veil, but currently, yes, the eShop deal videos are only making about like $20 to $25 a video, and I'm giving away a $10 eShop card on that for a video that I have to work on for like 5 or 6 hours. Okay? So basically, what I've decided to do is temporarily, I'll be giving away one eShop card per week. So every second video, I will be taking all the comments from the last 2 videos, and I will be announcing one winner for a card temporarily. Hopefully, once the Switch 2 gets announced and things go back to normal, we will be back to a $10 eShop gift card in each video. It's just, yeah, I hope you guys understand. I just can't give away more. And look, obviously, other people are watching other videos on the channel. So the channel is making more money than that. But not enough for me to start saying that, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm losing money on making videos. And it's not about just making money. It's just like, I put the work in, and it's just really sad that when you see a video's like made $9 and you're like giving because like sometimes it takes the video like a week to make like the $20 to $25. You understand? So sometimes like I'm giving the card away and the video's only made like $9 so far. So it's like, yeah, okay. And I get that. And that's why I don't want to eliminate it. I'm just going to do 1 per 2 videos for a while. And just like in the holidays when I suspended it temporarily, when things get back to normal, it'll be back every video. And, like for anyone who doesn't believe me, we started with giving away $5 cards. And as the channel got bigger, I started giving away $10 cards. Like I do find that it's a fun part of like the sort of giving back, part of the channel. So it's not something that I ever want to stop. But I do hope that once the Switch 2 gets announced, like the community starts growing a lot quicker again and views get a little bit, more interesting. It's almost guaranteed that it will be, because every Switch 1 channel, every channel that covers Switch 1, unless the channel covers primarily Rumours, has been going down. Like the only channels that have been doing well are channels that cover primarily Rumours, and that pretty much like 80% of their videos are about Switch 2 rumors. So, and like I've said it before, I understand the community, because even myself, like my current hype for the current Switch is lower than it used to be. You know what I mean? I tried to do that, but I'll be honest, I wasn't big enough for the company to be willing to give me discounts on the cards. So people would have had to buy the cards and not get a discount. And the process is more difficult than just buying directly from the eShop. So what happened is when I tried it, no one was buying them. Like at the beginning they gave me a discount code, and when I was having the discount code, a lot of people were using it, but they only gave me the discount code to sort of get things running. And when I stopped using the discount, when I stopped having the discount code, people stopped using it. And to it made sense though. It was a lot, like it's a second step you have to go through, um and whatnot. But yeah, but don't feel bad for me in the sense that the channel's not doing bad. Like, it's just not at the point where, like, and this is like, when I say temporarily, I think like by next month or two, especially if the Switch 2 releases in May, like we're hoping, and even once the Switch 2 is going to be announced, the hype is going to start going up. I'm going to be able to start doing videos on maybe like what games are being announced for the Switch 2. I don't like doing rumors, but I do want to cater, like, I do want to cater to the audience that does want concrete Switch 2 information. So once we have concrete Switch 2 information, that is something I want to do videos on. It's just like I said, right now things are extremely quiet, and I'm just gonna temporarily, like I said, go to one card per two videos. Um, I've been fighting with the decision for like the last month, because it's been like this for like a month already, and I keeping it up nonetheless. But I'm like, it just feels bad at one point. And like, I didn't mind, like, and when I started channel, I was running it at a loss, which happens for every channel because you have to buy the games and whatnot. But I don't want to, and just so you know, I keep buying most of the games we play on Friday nights. Like, sometimes I'm getting codes, but I'm also buying a lot of the games, because if the game I want to play, I haven't gotten a code for it. Unless there really is a game that is very close to the game I want to play, like quality wise or excitement wise, I'm gonna just buy the game I want to play. So when I started calculating the games I'm buying as well, um, like, that's where I'm like, ooh, dang, okay, this is a little rough, rough. But like I said, I have a full-time job. This is not my main job for the moment, but I'm a business guy. It's hard for me to not. It's hard for me to not like have that bell in my head that's going like, dude, you got to adjust something. I think a lot of people watch RGT for the same reason that they watch me, but our community is smaller. I think they like the way he is, and I know a lot of people will say like, "Oh, I don't like the way he is," but I think a lot of people do like the way he is. It's just different people than the people that watch me, because I'm not really like him in a way. You know what I mean? Like, it's two different personalities, and people will be attracted to his personality. The way he's unapologetic about a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he says it as it is, if you will. I generally am like that as well, but I don't go out of my way to say things that are shocking, where I think that some people, I do feel that sometimes people look for the next shocking thing to say, because they bank on that. And that's fine. It works. Yeah, I just wish, like I said, like I've been saying it since like I started. My dream is to do this full time. I'm not gonna lie, like, because the older I get, the harder it is to do both things at once. Although the kids are getting older, so that is taking pressure off of the other side. But what I mean is, just energy wise, look, I'm not gonna lie, when I started channel like 5 or 6 years ago, it was way easier to stay up till 2, 3 every day and do videos and get up at 7 the next day with 5 hours of sleep, do my work day and stuff. Also, I used to not work out. And although working out is extremely good for you, it does make me more tired than before. But I don't want to sacrifice my body health for being able to make more videos. So it's like I have to like find that balance point. But like I said, I do want to do this full time. So at one point, like I'm hoping to make like a, to get like a breakthrough something. And I do think I do think that the make it or break it moment will be the first couple of years of the Switch 2. I'm not going to lie. Because I missed out on the best years of the Switch 1 because I started my channel a bit late. Not that I didn't start like, because the Switch was already 3 or 4 years old when I started the channel. And basically, a lot of the people I think that were looking for Switch creators had found the most, like, the major part of their Switch creators. And by the time the channel did finally start really growing, I hit the slowdown. So it's just a numbers thing. You know what I mean? Like, and, but it is what it is. Like I said, and secondly, though, even if I would never be able to do this full time, I'll still always be here. So I don't want any of you to think like, oh, I'm saying this, it's a make it or break it year and I'll disappear. Nah. Like, even if our community would keep going very slowly up and like not necessarily I would never be able to do this full time. I'm still going to be here. The only thing is that, I'll never maybe get to that point where I'll be doing a video a day, a stream a day, and whatnot, which is something I would love to get to. To be honest, I would love to have like a streaming channel, the main channel, and then every day we get a video, every day we get a stream. Every time a new indie game, like in my ideal world, every interesting new indie game that comes out, we would almost play it on stream. You know what I mean? Like, every day. Yeah, but the problem is, and look, I hate judging my content compared to another person's content because every person goes to a video for a different reason. Some people go for information. Some people go for being entertained. I think that my strength is the information. My weakness sometimes is just the pure entertainment value because I'm not loud. I don't put memes all over my videos. I'm a little too dry with the information sometimes. However, I do think I'm much better at the entertainment part when we're streaming. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not a guy who's like yelling at all times. I'll yell when it's real. Like when we beat when we were playing, that Metroidvania, not last stream, but the stream before, the retro, it had a weird name, and it was about like the environment and stuff. Yeah, the poison ivy one. When I finally beat the boss, that was not like a fake yell of joy when I beat her. That was like, that's me. That's what I would have done. Even if I was sitting here alone, not streaming, I would have yelled like that. Like, and I would say the only thing, and I've said it many, many times, the only difference between the offline stream me and the stream me is that I swear more when I'm not streaming. I still swear from time to time when I'm streaming, but I do try to lower it a bit. And Topaz has been I don't know if you guys see her coming back and forth, but when she starts doing that, it just annoys me. When all she does is walk back and forth like that, it annoys the crap out of me when she does that. I love her to death, but it's just like, dude, I don't care if you want to sit over there. I don't care if you want to sit on me. Just choose one of the two and stop freaking walking. But like I said, yeah, so the one thing, and I know anyone can say this and anyone can lie about this, but you are getting the authentic me. And I think the best proof that like you get the authentic me is the time I streamed with my family here. I was exactly the same with them. And, my kids would be like Dad, why you being weird if I wasn't the way I was during that stream as when I'm always with them? So, that is the one thing I like. And I'm never going to want to change. I don't want to do like, I wouldn't want to fake it. You know what I mean? And that's why I think sometimes I have trouble doing like the Rumour videos. Alruna, exactly. Alruna. And that's why I think I have sometimes trouble doing the Rumour videos, because it'd be hard for me to act like I'm excited about a rumor that I find so stupid because it's the same rumor that came out 3 months ago that everyone's like repeating on repeat. You know what I mean? And so or like it's a rumor that is like, I'm trying to think like how much were people talking about the freaking magnetic Joy-Cons, and they were already trying to find the problems with the magnetic Joy-Cons before the magnetic Joy-Cons actually come out. I'm like, dude, we don't even know how, like, till we know how. Do you understand what I mean? It's like you guys are searching for rumors. We find you guys find that they're magnetic Joy-Cons, and then the next thing that everyone's doing is they're bitching about the magnetic Joy-Cons that we haven't even tried yet. How can you complain about something that you haven't even tried yet? Based on the conceptual idea that in your mind, magnets are going to be a bad idea. Like, and then it's like a bandwagon. Everyone does it. Yeah, honestly, Spawnwave, just to let you guys know, I listen probably to Spawnwave every morning. But primarily for the non-Switch stuff, because most of the Switch stuff, by the time he puts it out in the morning, I've already seen it on Twitter, I've already seen it elsewhere. But especially to keep up to date with like the PlayStation, the Xbox stuff, and the other stuff, I watch his show pretty much every morning. Well, I covered the hypothetical mouse, but as a part of the warp zone, which is why I really enjoy doing the warp zone, is because we get a chance to talk about that stuff, but I find in a format that's more authentic, where I can talk about the mouse for like 5 minutes because that's how much it deserves. But yeah. Well, if you're doing a show every day, it's gonna be hard to make something feel exciting every day. Like if you had to find like a 15 minutes of stories to do every day, it'd be hard. It's like if I tried to do eShop deals every day, eventually every video would feel the same. Like in my opinion, I could never go over 3 eShop deal videos in a week without the videos start feeling like each and every video is the same. And even by now, for the Switch 1, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are starting to feel like the videos are feeling a little samey. Because it's the same games coming over. Like we are still getting high quality games currently, but we are getting less. How could I say this? I find that in the last 6 months, every game coming out has been an 8 or above, or a 5 and below. We've been getting very few games in the 7, in the medium range. You know what I mean? Like 6 and 7s, where they're bad games at full price, but they're good games on sale. So, and we're unfortunately getting fewer like, if you want to or not, we're getting like 1 8 or above game every week or two, when there was a point in the Switch's life where we were easily getting, sorry, because I hear noise upstairs and I don't know at this hour why I'm hearing noise upstairs. Okay. But there was a point in the Switch's life where we were easily getting, like, on the indie game side, like 2 to 3 solid indie games a week that were really worth playing. So the problem is that since for the last 6 months, there's 1 or 2 indie games that come out that are good. Well, there's not enough brand new games to fill out an eShop Deals video. So I'm stuck like reusing the same games that are on sale again. You know what I mean? And it's not bad because some games, like, you haven't got them on the last sale, but it's hard now to make an eShop Deals video with like 10 games that have never been seen before on eShop Deals, because almost every game has been seen before. Shinobi's gonna be the freaking bomb, man. I put out the take my money meme to one of their tweets this week. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Okay. Anyway, so all that to say, because we went way off track, I will be doing, like, the next video is not going to have a winner for the eShop Deals card, but the next video will have a winner. I'm not going to really announce it any official way in the videos, in the sense that this video, I'm just not going to say anything. And then the video after, in the next video, I'm going to explain that today we'll have a weekly eShop gift card winner. So every second video there will be a winner. And because I don't want to make it a whole thing or whatnot, so yeah, Terminator 2D as well. Honestly, like I said, that, and on top of it, we're getting a new Ninja Gaiden. The new Ninja Gaiden looks insane. But I admit that it sucks a bit because I find that Shinobi stole the show a bit from Ninja Gaiden. You know, they've always been like sort of the two ninjas, the old school ninja games. And I think they're going to be very different experiences like they've always been. But I do find that Shinobi, the visuals have a little bit more punch than the Ninja Gaiden game. But I think the Ninja Gaiden game is going to be extremely good as well. What's up, Frenchie? Oh, you finished Eastward. Congrats. Awesome little game, eh? Yeah, and the DLC turns it into like a Stardew Valley type game. Like, I think that Ninja Gaiden will be much more difficult than Shinobi. I think Shinobi will be hard, but it'll end up being more of like a action focused game for a general audience where anyone can end up getting good enough to play it. While I think Ninja Gaiden will be more for a hardcore audience. Like, I think it's going to be more like a Cyber Shadow type thing where, like, it's going to be a little harder. Okay. I think it's about time, guys, to do the new Switch games. What do you guys think? I think it's about time to jump into the new Switch games for this week. Now, before I do the intro, I'm going to let you guys know it's a pretty quiet week. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games only this week that we're going to take a look at. But 7 games, but I would say 7 good games, and I'm gonna try. I'm really trying to focus on the games that really stand out. There's maybe one game in today's list that I included nonetheless, even though I'm sort of iffy on the quality level. But I really think that the other ones are, even if they're maybe not the best games ever, they have such an original art style or something that it's gonna be worth checking out. And which one has a demo? There's a demo for one of these. Oh, yes, it's this one. And I do have a couple of warnings for a couple of them, because, and especially one that I think a lot of people are going to be liking. But first impressions that I saw are worrisome. But we're going to get started. So hey everyone, and welcome back. It's time to look at the new Nintendo Switch games for this week. And I've got a lineup of 7 games coming out this week that I really think deserve a little bit more attention. Now don't forget, if you are liking the video, to hit that like button. Aha, I don't tell you guys anymore. I don't tell you guys anymore. I'm gonna stop getting effed on it. Frenchie Mom, but thank you so much. Frenchie Mom and Nexus Creed for both gifting memberships. Thank you so much, guys. Very appreciated. Yeah. Yeah, it's because I put a delay on it to not get effed. No, I'm joking. I didn't do that. Okay. Let's get started with our first game. So our first game for this week is going to be MLB The Show 25, which is releasing on March 18th. By the way, there was a deluxe edition that released last week for $99.99. However, this week on the 18th, it's the release of the base version that will be selling for $59.99. Now, if you want to play baseball on the Switch and you don't want cartoon-like characters, this is pretty much going to be your go-to game. It is the only official baseball game out there. However, I do want to warn, as pretty much a lot of the big sports games on the Switch, you are sacrificing a lot of graphical fidelity for playing these games on the Switch. So, although I love my Switch to death, these are one of the rare series that I say that if you're not going to be playing in handheld mode and you do have another system, you're probably better off dropping $60 on a different system. However, if not, I would definitely at least wait for a sale on the Switch, unless you're a die-hard fan that needs to play this game day one. But let's take a look at the trailer. You'll see what I mean when you see the animations. It still seems like a functional baseball game. It's just rarely the best iteration.
Even a game as timeless as baseball must evolve. Only you can control.
Like, look at the presenter here, man.
That's a base hit.
It doesn't look unplayable, but it definitely doesn't look like a brand new baseball game. Last thing I do want to also warn a bit about these games is often the engines and the inside gameplay are rehashes of the previous version. Very little improvements to any of the gameplay and things like that. It's really like a roster update of the previous game for the Switch. So, but like I said, if you're a baseball fan, this is it's pretty much the only game in town. It's just like when you see, the visuals like on the presenter here and things, it's hard for me to say, yes, go out, get this game day one and pay $60 for it. Okay? I said my piece for MLB The Show 25. It's releasing this week. It's a big game for some people. I definitely had to showcase it. Now, let's jump into our next game. Now, our next game, and I'm going to try to not mess up the title, is Kiniku Neko Super Muscle Cat. Now, this is my weird pick of the week. This game is releasing on March 19th. It'll be selling for $17.99. It's a 2D platformer, let's call it, where you're playing a muscle-bound dude that has a cat head. It is a game that is basing itself a lot on humor, slapstick comedy, but overall, the graphical style has me extremely intrigued. And personally, you know what? I'd be willing to drop $17 on this just to try out the crazy looking gameplay. So let's take a look at the trailer. And I think this is going to be a take it or leave it game. So either you're going to be like me and you're going to love what you see, or you're going to be like, what the heck am I looking at? And Topaz obviously wants to see the cat game, so she's here. Oh yeah, and you get turned into like a cat sometimes. Mini games, rhythm based. Yeah, the animations sometimes are just like insane. This is insane. This is insane. Okay. Now, I'll be honest though, it has me intrigued. And I know a lot of people are thinking this game is looking bad, but I'm not so sure it's going to be bad. I think the platforming might actually be solid. And although it's a very different graphical style, the game is giving me the same kind of vibes that Garlic had. If you remember Garlic, but it was a much more retro styled, like precision platformer, extremely difficult, but it had that funky Japanese anime art style that is just poking fun at everything. And this looks just so crazy that it might turn out to be good. And you know what? If I can, I will play this. Okay? There's actually a possibility that this will be the Friday game. That's how intrigued I am by this game. This is what we might be playing on Friday, just to let you know. Because a lot of the other great games coming out this week just aren't going to be great streaming games. They're going to be great games overall, just not great streaming games. So we have Kinniku Neko Super Muscle Cat coming out on March 19th. Let's jump into our next game. Our next game, look, it's the biggest release of the month, possibly the biggest release of the year for many people. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is coming out on March 20th. It'll be selling for $59.99. Look, if you're a fan of JRPGs, this is a must-have game. The whole Xeno saga, Xenoblade saga, whatever you want to call it, is pretty much, they're all fantastic games. Some are better than others. Some people will even argue that this is the best game in the series. It looks awesome. It plays amazing. Basically, like I said, if you're a JRPG fan, this is like a no-brainer for this week. And if anyone wants to know if it's worth $59.99, I would definitely say yes, it is. Even if the graphical upgrade was just the base version we had previously, it would have already been worth $60. So I don't even need to wait to see if the graphical version is worth it. It is an amazing game overall. Let's take a look at the trailer. Now, I chose the 2-minute trailer. There was a 6-minute, like, huge overview trailer, but I think this game doesn't need more than the presentation, because probably most of you already know this game is coming out this week.
Well, here we are. Not too shabby, huh?
And I've been playing Xenogears since the PS1, by the way.
For a giant beached spaceship, anyway.
That's a game I'd love to see remade, by the way, on the Switch.
Like it or not, this place is our home now. We took the name from the city it was modeled after back on Earth. We call it New Los Angeles. Welcome to NLA.
I just didn't like sometimes the timing-based triggers in Xenogears. Like, it did become tedious when you had to fight frequently.
Together, we resolved to forge a new way of life here on Mira, come what may.
It looks amazing. Like, this looks absolutely amazing. Like, for a Switch 1 game, this is crazy.
Lie to ourselves. Truth is, we were adrift, heading into the unknown. Our native home was gone.
I think this could be a starting point, Canadian chick.
And our future was uncertain. We had no idea what fate lay in store for us. Only that we had to keep living in order to see it.
A lot of the stories are self-contained. I don't think you have to worry too much about jumping in. They are more interconnected than, let's say, Final Fantasies, like from one to the other or whatnot. But I do think you can jump in on almost any point.
Fancy seeing you here.
So a great looking game for this week. This trailer didn't have a lot of gameplay in it, but like I said, the other one was a 6-minute trailer. It's turn-based RPG combat. It's a great game overall. Like I said, this is one probably if you're watching this video, you don't even need to know it's coming out this week. But if you didn't and you didn't have it on your radar and you are a fan of RPGs, it's once again, like I said, a no-brainer. No-brainer whatsoever. Next is going to be a game. I'm going to call this one a bit of a long shot. It is out on Steam and it has mixed positive reviews. Like it's sitting around a 3.5 to a 4 stars out of 5 on Steam. But it has me intrigued because the combat, the visuals look extremely interesting, and that is Beyond Hanwell. Which is releasing on March 20th and is going to be selling for $29.99. Now, the price point is a little high on this one, so it is a little high to be taking a blind shot at, but it is basically a survival horror game. But what I love is, as opposed to the Resident Evil series or whatnot, almost all the combat seems melee-based in this game, which is something, honestly, I would say looking for, would be the word. I do find survival horror often depends on guns and like modern weapons, but I'm looking for a game that would depend more on like physical, visceral combat, more close quarters combat. I think it could even increase the horror element, and this game just might deliver something like that. And the visuals look strong enough that, you know what, it can get you. It can probably get you a couple of jump scares here and there. So let's take a look at the trailer and we'll see what this game has to offer. It has that creep factor. The dark visuals are really like, I think that it works for the game, and it's always playing with those shadows and those lightings and just letting you see what you need to see. It always evokes that level of tension. So you do have firearms, but like I said, from the trailer, it does seem like melee combat is a very important part of the game. You're right, guys. I forgot my green for St. Patrick's Day. I'm I'm a bad person. My bad. I don't know if it's zombies. It's not quite clear. And like I said, I try not to read. I look quickly at review scores and stuff like that for these videos, but I want to have my reactions to the trailers, really my reactions to the trailers. So I didn't look into too deeply into the story, what it is exactly. Either way, if I'm jumping into a survival horror game, I don't want to know ahead of time. I want to play the game, and I want the game to give me the experience it's supposed to give me based on the scare factor. It's sort of it's like playing Resident Evil 1 and already knowing why the zombies are there. You get it? Because the creep factor of the mansion goes down seriously when you know the background to the story. I'm not going to say it just in case anyone has not played Resident Evil 1 yet, although, let's be honest, you can't really spoil a almost 30-year-old game. But either way, we're not going to get into details, but especially survival horror games, I try to not know anything about the story ahead of time. But this one has me extremely interested. However, for 30 bones, I'll be honest with you, if I don't get a review code, I think I will be waiting for a sale to pick this one up. I would possibly recommend the same thing, simply because the game is somewhat on the fence and my lights are flashing. Hopefully we will not lose power. If we do, I will be very annoyed because the stream will cut out. Okay, so Beyond Handwell, like I said, is coming out on March 20th. It'll be selling for $29.99. Let's get to our next game. So next, we have Tales of Autumn, which is releasing also on March 20th. However, this is a much more budget game at $12.99. Now, this is a game that I decided to highlight because I do find there are some interesting aspects to it. But once again, I'm a bit on the fence on this one if it's going to turn out to be something that is worth picking up. The budget price point of $12.99 does help it, but it is basically a farming life sim. The only big advantage or the big original point about this one is that there are a monster catching and taming aspect to it as well, where you can catch different animals and bring them back and then raise them on your farm. So it sort of combines like the farming with monster catching, but there doesn't seem to be any active adventuring or combat in the game, so I'm not exactly sure how the monster taming happens. I am a little bit worried about the animations as well, but let's take a look at the trailer. It'll be easy to talk about it once we get a better idea of the gameplay itself. So you have to restore an abandoned ranch, which, is sort of the setup to a lot of these games. You can care for up to 70 different creatures. This is the part that got me sort of interested here. I like the Game Boy aspect too to the gameplay. Terraforming also got me interested, because a lot of these places it's like hard to shape the island like you want it. And I say it says explore the wilds, but you don't actually see any combat. So there are townsfolk to befriend, so there's a social aspect to the game. There's like mini games here that we see as well, which could be something interesting. So that is Tales of Autumn. Like I said, this is releasing on March 20th for $12.99. It's one of those games that, like, the more I look at it, the more I'm really on the fence about this one. I'll be honest, I included it on the list, but the more I think about it is definitely wait for a review or two, because this is the kind of game that on the top, it can be looking very interesting, very cozy, but it has to be doing something original to be worth picking up, because there's so many options in this genre on the Switch that we don't necessarily need a new one that really doesn't do anything special either. But nonetheless, Tales of Autumn, I do think was a game worth at least taking a look at for this week. Although I would probably put it at the back of my list for a pickup. So we have 2 more games to look at. The next one is probably the second biggest release for this week. And that is going to be Atelier Yumiya, The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land. So that title is quite a mouthful. I'll try to say it again. Atelier Yumiya, The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land, which is coming out on March 21st. Now, this game is going to have 3 different packs available. You have the standard edition, which is $59.99. You have a deluxe edition that is $69.99, which gives you an alternate aesthetics for your character. So it gives you an alternate costume pack, and it gives you a recipe for an item that really helps boost your XP at the beginning of the game. And lastly, you also have an ultimate edition that is $109.99. That's quite a bit of cash. And that one comes with a bunch of different recipes. It also comes with a bunch of different costumes for your characters. So a lot of DLC upgrades. Most of them are visual upgrades, but there are a few functional recipes that will help you out for the game. Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. $109, in my opinion, is too much for a digital version of a game. An Ultimate Edition should never be digitally that much for a few DLC cosmetics and a few recipes that you're adding on. That's adding on an extra $50 to the game. Too much. Okay, for me, that is my stance on it. If you enjoy the series, you enjoy the game, by all means, pick it up, enjoy it, feel happy with your purchase. I'm just saying that to me, Koei Tecmo does this a lot with their games, and I say it every time. They are gouging their loyal fans by putting these Ultimate Editions this expensive. $89.99 to me would be the like, you include all the same stuff, but you make it $89.99. To me, that is the cutoff point. And even that is starting to be quite expensive. Nippon Ichi is another company that does it as well. Same thing. I say the same comment for the 2 companies. However, let's get to the game now. The Atelier series is a great JRPG series. This game looks very interesting. It looks like the brand new entrance. The last Atelier Ryza was very well received. Turned out to be a pretty good Switch game. So obviously, if you are looking for a JRPG, at $60, you're probably getting a good entry with the base version as well. And most of the cosmetics and the optional items are just that. They are optional items, so they are not required. You don't have to spend the $109 here. Now, the one thing I will say, however, is that I did poke around, like I said, a little bit on early previews of the game. And apparently, this is really pushing the limits of the Switch graphically. And the game apparently does have the occasional stuttering. Now, this being a JRPG, it is not going to be game-breaking. But unfortunately, it is pushing the Switch to its limits. Last little bit of good information, however, there is a free downloadable demo on the eShop. You can download a demo for the game. You can try it out. So before jumping in, you know what? Download that demo, try it out. But most likely, if you're a fan of JRPGs, especially ones with a very anime-heavy aesthetic, you are going to like this game. And it is all about alchemy and combining different elements, you know, basically a very popular genre to mix in with the JRPG type of gameplay. So let's take a look at the trailer. I've said enough. Once again, I do think the loyal fans of this game won't need the news that the game is coming out. They'll already know it's coming out for this week. And it's a beautiful game. I just think they pushed the graphical limits here. Like, I feel you can even see it in the trailer that the graphics look like they're stuttering a bit from time to time.
正しいことって一つじゃないのよ。
すべて滅びたと思っていたが、
正しいことって何？絶対に許さない。
身の程知らず愚か者。
今日はそうただのご挨拶ですとも。
これが私の全力。
どうか真相を解き明かして。
I would also recommend that they maybe shorten the title in the future, because Atelier Yumiya, the Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land, imagine if I have to put that in an eShop deals at the top of the video. I'm going to be like, either the writing's going to be like minuscule, or I'm going to have to cut down the title. But overall, yes, I do agree it has a very Genshin looking to its aesthetics, but this is a full JRPG, so there is no well, I'm not going to say there's no microtransactions, because I believe you can buy the DLC and the extra costumes after, but it is not a game that is, based all around that. So Atelier Yumiya, like I said, this one is coming out on March 21st. Base edition $59, deluxe edition $69.99. And then the Ultimate Edition for $109.99. So, great little JRPG, most likely. Hopefully, the graphical issues, if there are any with the Switch, are going to be able to be patched out. And if not, like I said, this is always also going to be a great game to catch on sale. There's most likely going to be a physical edition of the game, and you'll see that these games often go on sale, I would say like 3 to 4 months down the road physically, and you can pick up a copy for close to half price. Last but not least, we have one more game for this week, and that is Assault Suit Lainos 2, the Saturn Tribute, which is releasing also on March 21st. And it'll be selling for $24.99. Now, there is a pre-release discount, however, for this one, knocking it down to $19.99. Now, this is an arcade game, and it's coming from the same company that gave us 2 previous arcade games that have come out, I would say, over the last couple of months, and both of them turned out to be pretty fantastic games. One of them I actually reviewed on the channel not too long ago. I'm having a blank on the title, but I'll pull it up while we're watching the trailer. The gameplay here reminds me a lot of Assault Suits Vulcan that came out a while ago. Although this one it feels a little more maybe fluid and action oriented. While Assault Suits Vulcan had a little bit more of a clunky feel to its controls. But overall, this one has me extremely interested, especially due to the quality of the last 2 releases from this very same company that have been grabbing some really iconic arcade games and porting them to the Switch. Let's take a look at the gameplay. I think you'll know right away if this is your kind of game or not. Oh, and wait, I wanted to freeze frame this here. These are the improvements that they've made to the gameplay, and I think these are going to be a big thing. So you do have a rewind feature, a quick save, a slow mode, the possibility to reconfigure buttons, a rapid fire so you don't have to keep spamming the fire button, an enhanced boost functionality, increased durability, and a hint function. So a lot here that often really helps retro games come up to today's standards. Let's get back to the rest of the gameplay, though. I love the big screen-filling bosses, and like I said, mech action is always going to get me immediately, especially arcade-style mech action. And just to fill it out, the two games that this company had released or recently are Gimmick and Gimmick 2, which were great remakes of a platformer from that I actually reviewed on the channel, as well as Under Defeat that I also reviewed on the channel, which was a port of a great arcade shoot 'em up. Really, really solid releases. So I do have a confidence here that this game, if they chose to port it over, will most likely be a very fun and decent experience. Now, the price point is a little high, however. If they are watching the video, this game needs to be at least $5 or $10 cheaper. Its regular price needs to be between $14.99 and $19.99. At $24.99, this feels pricey for a digital release, especially of a old arcade game, and you're only getting one arcade game here. Feels a little pricey. I'll be honest with you, I'd feel way more comfortable suggesting this around $15. However, nonetheless, if you are a fan of retro arcade games, keep an eye on this one. At least there's a pre-release discount right now, dropping it to $19.99. And if not, I would definitely wait for a future sale. It most likely is going to hit shortly. So that was pretty much it for the new Nintendo Switch games for this week. Let me know in the comments down below which was your favorite game this week, which ones you think you're going to be picking up. You can also let me know if you ever think that I forgot a game for this week or I maybe didn't pay attention to a game that looks very interesting for you. Let me know in the comments down below. On the way out, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and click on that notification bell. And as usual, I hope I'll see you in my next video. Boom, man. All in one shot. No messing up this time. Got it. Oh. I'm actually drinking a German beer. I'm not drinking an Irish beer. You're right, man. I'm like totally crappy this week. And we have another gifted sub from Frenchie Mom. Thank you so much. Very appreciated. And welcome to the channel. Who got it? Why can't I see? Normally I see who got it. I know it flashed on the screen, but it's weird because normally I get I see it in the chat too, the name of the person, but I can't see it. I think it was better late than never or something like that. Yeah, I've hold on. We can flip to the main display. I have Erdinger, which is a Weiss beer, a white beer. In the description of the video. Yeah, you're right. I should put it there. It's because the links time out. And even though I put like a link that was supposed to be eternal, it timed out eventually. It's weird. Discord doesn't like making permanent links to something, so you have to sort of refresh it. It's a pain in the butt. But you're right. I should put the Discord link in the description of the videos. Oh my god. I'm a cheap date. Honestly, I drink any beer. Obviously, and honestly, it's often when I get them on sale, because this, a 4-pack of this, which is basically, these are, where's the milliliters? See, this is a 500 milliliter. So a 4-pack of this was the same price as a 6-pack of Blue Ribbon. So you're getting actually more beer in these than the 6-pack of Blue Ribbon for the same price. And this is way better beer than Blue Ribbon. I often grab stuff when it's on sale. Dude, I'm like a money saver in that way for everything. So since I'm not difficult on my beer, obviously from time to time, there's a beer I want and I buy that one. But most time I rotate between the ones that are on sale. And I also bought a 6-pack of a double white beer that's from Boreal, a company here that's called Boreal, and it was like $1 more than six blue ribbons. So, and I'm saying blue ribbons because those are always the cheapest beers. Like you can't get cheaper than them. I think they actually hit the legal price minimum for beer in Quebec because we have like a minimum price. I don't know if you have that in the US, but here we have a minimum price for beer. Like you can't sell, you can sell beer for as expensive as you want, but there's a minimum price you can sell it for. And I think they sell it for the minimum price possible. There's a lot of stuff like this here, like on eggs, on milk. There's a minimum price that you can sell stuff for. There's no max, but there is a minimum. So either way, so yeah, malt liquors. I know. I was actually surprised though. Last time I went to New York, hard liquor was really expensive. I used to remember that I used to be able to find like bottles of like cheap whiskey for like around $15. And the last time I went, a bottle of JD cost me like 35, 40 American. And that's really expensive. Like, because here a bottle of JD is around 40 Canadian. So when I convert it, it's like the bottle cost me like $55. Dude, I used to I drink Colt 45s. Yeah, I love Colt 45 actually. But yeah, it messes with your digestion system. And we have a beer called Black Bull. Black Bull is like even stronger alcohol content than Colt 45. I drink Scotch. If I drink Scotch, whiskey, or rum, I drink it straight. No ice, no nothing. I have to drink it straight. I need the actual taste of the Scotch or the whiskey, room temperature. That's the only way I drink my hard liquor. It has to be room temperature straight. That's the only way I drink hard liquor. Because, like, to me, anything else just dilutes it and it doesn't taste right to me. Like it just doesn't. And cold hard liquor to me, like you lose that like nice little burn that you get. You know what I mean? Like yeah, but straight bourbon too. Like JD, I'll drink it from the bottle. Unfortunately, we can't buy any here right now, so I'm sort of effed on that end. Yeah, they basically we unfortunately I can't buy any JD or anything from the US right now. They pulled them all off the shelf, and here in Quebec, hard liquor can only be sold at the government stores. Beer can be sold like at grocery stores and convenience stores and all that. But anything that is considered hard liquor is exclusively sold by the government here. So, and basically, unfortunately, currently they pulled all American liquors off the shelves. So you cannot buy American liquor, even if you want it. There's no way to do it right now. Sucks, because like I love JD. I guess I don't want to get into it, but yeah, it's Canada's response to the tariffs. They've pulled all American liquors off the shelf. So even if you go to the store and you ask for it, they might have them in the back, and they're like, no, we're not selling it. And because they're government stores, they can do it. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to. Yeah, like as I don't like getting into it because like you know what I mean? Like no matter what I'm gonna say, it's always gonna sound like a biased opinion because obviously I'm Canadian. But you know, I've said it many times. Personally, I don't give a crap in the sense that you know, it is what it is. Yeah, it's like there's no way for me to make a convincing argument. Like, and that's the problem with something like this is that no matter who's going to talk about it, there's no way to make a convincing argument. Even if you try to say that you're neutral, there's no way anyone's going to say that you're neutral because it's a charged situation right now. And it is what it is. It's just that what my fear is going to happen, I'll tell you right away, is that let's imagine this works, okay? Let's imagine tariffs allow you to eliminate income tax, because that is basically the sort of idea that is being proposed. What's going to stop every country in the world from doing it? If this winds up to be a functioning system, what's going to stop every company from the world from implementing the exact same thing and saying we're going to have other countries pay for our imports and whatnot? Well, and it's not even other countries that are paying for it. And all it's going to lead to is a global pricing market that's going to go up. That is my biggest fear, is that it's going to go beyond just Canada and the US. And if it actually works as an economic plan, that would be the ideal thing, NDJ. That is the idea, and like, do you guys want a quick show and tell? Do you want a quick show and tell? And look, this is all we're gonna do about this. Yeah, but it's not even, it's an economic thing, because this is true whether it's tariffs or anything else, okay? And this is like Econ 101. So forget tariffs, okay? We're just going to talk about competition, okay? And how it relates to that. So, and like I said, I promise this is not like in any way, like, if after you're like, hey, this doesn't work, I'll be like, okay, sure, no problemo. Okay, so let's imagine you're buying oranges. You are a store who buys... You are a distributor who buys oranges, okay? And you can buy oranges from Mexico, or you can buy them from the US. You're in the US, okay? You are a person who distributes oranges to different convenience stores and grocery stores and whatnot. So you have two choices. You can buy oranges from the USA that are $4, and I'm going to write this the American way, $4 for 100 oranges, okay? The numbers aren't as important as the principle behind it, okay? But let's just imagine. Or you can buy Mexican oranges that are $3 for 100 oranges. Now, what most distributors are going to do is they're going to buy both of them. You understand? But the oranges from the USA are going to be resold. And I know that the numbers don't make sense, okay? I know oranges are more expensive than this, okay? I'm not like, just so you know. So basically, what this is going to do, they're going to be resold to grocers for, let's imagine oranges from the USA are going to be resold for $6 for the oranges, because you want to make a 50% profit. And Mexico oranges are going to be resold for $4.50, because most companies don't work on making an extra dollar. They work on a percentage of increase. Okay, so if they say that our profit margin has to be 50 points, 50%, the oranges that are costing $4, they're going to be reselling for $6. The oranges that are costing $3, they're going to be selling from $4.50. Okay. Now we're going to keep we're going to imagine that this is the final step, okay? Because I don't want to overcomplicate the situation, but normally there'd be a third step where this is going to be resold after that to the consumer. Because you understand that this is the importer or distributor This is the grocery store. And then you have the consumer down here, which is going to get a third level. Okay? Now, basically what tariffs do is they increase this $3 to... I chose a bad number to do 25%, but a quarter of $3 is it's 25 cents per dollar, so it's an extra 75 cents. So what this is going to do is they're going to make, so if you add in a 25% tariff here, this means that your $3 oranges, your distributor is going to have to buy them for $3.75. Okay? Your oranges in the US are still more expensive. However, people generally will pay more for local produce because you're buying, in your mind, a better quality product because this is an orange that is grown at home from your own country. And the US, it generally makes higher quality products than Mexico. So the reason some people pay $6 for their oranges instead of $4.50 is because they're willing to pay an extra $1.50 for the better quality and the fact that it's a local product, okay? So what's going to happen is that the company here, since he has to pay 25% extra tariff, his 50% margin, he's not going to apply, he's not going to say, okay, I'm going to add 75 cents here. He's going to still do $3.75 plus 50%. Do you understand? So rather than going from $4.75 to $5.25, your orange here will go, and this is why I said I chose a bad number because I wanted like an easy number for math, but $3.75 times 1.5 is equivalent to $4.62. So your orange will actually be 375 times 50%. Oh, $5.60. Wow. $5.60. So the problem is that, and this is where the problem comes in. Do you understand? Is that there's inflation here. There's inflation here because what happens is that instead of going up 75 cents, at each level, it's going to be a percentage increase. So this is what's going to drive prices up. Your price is actually going to go up by more than 25%. But here's the kicker. The company that's selling the American oranges for $4 and used to sell them for $6, a company's sole goal is to make more money. So the company's going to say, well, everyone was paying an extra $1.50 for American oranges. So if my Mexican oranges are $5.60, that means I can sell my American oranges for $7.10. And your local produce will go up as well because the companies will still say, hey, people were paying an extra $1.50 for better oranges from the States. The price on my Mexican oranges went up, but I can still make that extra $1.50 for American oranges. And this is where it's going to kill the economy because the company is going to try to make more money off of the products. Because the company doesn't care about the reason it's going up. And everyone who's going to bitch about this being higher, the company's just going to say, oh, it's not our fault, it's the tariffs. In the short term. And look, long term, I don't know how it's going to shape up. I'm just saying short term because I'm just going to let you know my company does this. Like, my company has already known that the 25% is going to be bigger than 25% in the end, and they're going to get to make more money out of it. But they're not, because they still make better profit by paying low wages in Mexico. Like, you're not going to... You might have that for, like, cars. You might have that for like big value products, but you're not going to have it for oranges. Because people are still going to have oranges in Mexico. People are still going to have alcohol in Canada. People are still going to have... And I'll give you the biggest example is China. No company can make it up by paying American wages for building products. So you're never going to have Chinese companies that are going to come over here to build their products to get around tariffs. In China, most companies are like subsidized by the government. Like it's crazy advantageous. It's crazy advantageous. Why do you think that a Japanese company like Nintendo has their stuff made in China? Japan has an incredible production capacity, but they still have it made in China because they can profit off of the fact that the companies over there don't have to pay fair wages to their workers. Is that okay from a... But that's the problem is, like I said, will some things, yes, but for the common man, how many cars you buy in your lifetime? 5 or 6. So, okay, you'll save $1,000 or $2,000 on cars, but every time you buy any electronic appliance, you're going to be paying like 15, 20, 25% more. And that's what inflation is. Inflation doesn't mean everything costs more. It means that the things you buy most often cost more. That drives up the monthly average cost you have to pay. But like I said, that and this is just basic economics 101. Like a company, if there's no way a company is going to sell 40 cents more for an American orange when they used to be able to pay $1.50 more for the same thing. They're going to upscale the local pricing too, because a company's sole purpose is to make more money. So when you get to the realizing that the companies behind everything, like in a perfect world where this company would say, I can now sell my American oranges for $6 and keep that price steady, it would work. But the problem is everyone's greedy and the companies are going to do this. And this is what's going to kill the process. And that's sort of what Wall Street is warning. That the problem is that this is going to happen, and then and overall, the average person is going to save how much income tax, but going to have to pay more on the other end. Who's going to benefit is the people that are saving. If you make 60 grand a year, okay, and you go from a 30% taxation rate to like, let's say 15% taxation rate, okay? So 30% is 20, 15% is 10. So you're saving 10 grand a year by cutting your income tax in half. Okay, so your net positive is 10,000, but the problem is here that the cost of products on a daily basis might raise more than the 10,000 you're going to save a year. However, the person who makes $600,000 a year him going from 30% to 15% he's gonna be saving $100,000 a year. And there's no way that his normal expenditures are going to go up by 100,000. So unfortunately, what this also does, and that's why I know people hate income tax, but it is the fairest way of equivalating the people that make biggest amounts of monies. What it's basically gonna mean is that this is gonna be an excellent move for people that are already making a lot of money, but it's actually gonna be a bad move for anyone making too little money, because the amount they're gonna save on their income tax is not gonna equivalate to the increased prices they're gonna pay on the other end. And like I said, forget about which countries doing what, because it's not any better that for the tariffs that we have to pay now. Like, like our counter tariffs are making stuff more expensive for me, so I ain't fucking happy about that either. Like, I'm like, fucking, like, and so who cares whose fault it is? It's more expensive. I don't give a crap. Okay, but that basically what it's unfortunately going to just do is it's going to increase the rift between rich and poor. And the only political thing I'm going to say is don't forget who Donald Trump's best friends are. It's the people in this group, not this group. The people who got him elected and gave him the most money are the people in this group. Elon Musk, if he goes from 30 to 15%, think of how much he's saving a year to how much he's going to pay more a year. But think about the dude that makes $30,000 for working at McDonald's all year. He's only saving like $2,500 a year. But he's having to pay like $5 more every time he needs to buy like oranges, or like you understand what I mean? Yeah. I understand. That's not. I'm just saying that it's gonna be super advantageous for people that make a lot of money, less advantageous for those that make less. And that's why normally income tax, it's better when it's higher on average, because it means that the people that are making the most money are contributing back more into the system to even things out. And most income tax systems are scaling either way. What that means is that like people who make 30,000 are already paying maybe 10% income tax, so they really can't drop much lower than that. While people that are making like over 300,000 are generally paying like 40% income tax. It's a scaling system in most countries to even out those things, because if someone who was only making like 20,000 a year had to pay 40% income tax, there'd be no way they could live, and stuff like that. But like I said, like, and this is just like econ. That you are 1,000,000% right. Most people who are poor, and look, and there are people who are unlucky. They get sick, medical bills, stuff like that. But there are also people who are just bad with money. 100% given. That is a reality in life. Not everyone is good with money. That's 100% true. And, on average, yeah, exactly. No, but like I said, no political. Like I didn't want to frustrate anyone. I'm just like, this was just like pure econ stuff. Like I just wanted to show like why the system, if this goes global and every country starts doing it, say like, okay, cool, we'll all cancel out income tax and we'll tariff incoming goods from elsewhere to like balance our sheets. It's just that it's the population. We're going to pay the same thing or even more, but just we're going to pay it when we spend our money rather than when we get our money. It's like, it's a equivalency. It'll be an equivalency because overall the government has to have the same money. They're just changing where they're getting it from. Don't forget that no matter what happens in the world, unless you're prepared to cut services that you're getting, if I answer that question, we get into political stuff, so I don't want to do it. Do you understand? And I don't have an answer. I only have what I think, and that's what I don't want to get into. And that is where I very much agree with what the government is doing. And I'm Canadian, but what I mean is like, on a neutral perspective, The cutting for the stupid spending, that is A1. Are they maybe being too aggressive on some things? I do think they are. But that is an excellent way. Cutting spending. Dude, come on. That's the best thing ever. Stop spending on stupid stuff. Excellent. Because like I have an idea why they're not going to cut tariffs, but like I said, I can't answer that without getting political, which is something I don't want to do. And we've already spent like too much time on this stuff. Because like I said, I hate when we get into this stuff, and it's like it's so everywhere right now that I'm fed up with it. I'm just like, dude. And you understand, like I can't sit down with everyone I talk to and give them like this 10-minute course on watch Bleach trailer, please. Bleach? Is there a new trailer for the new season of Bleach? Oh, there is. Or is this Rebirth of Souls? The final... Oh, you're talking about the game, right? Yeah. Came out 15 hours ago. I love Bleach. I'm a huge fan.
Let's do this. It'll be over real quick. Let's go. There. I can see you.
And honestly, we've never really gotten a really good Bleach game, to my knowledge.
Taking place right before your eyes. Let's not waste any more time. Honestly.
I will. My bad. So sorry. Let's do this.
Let's do this. It'll be over real quick. Let's go. There. I can see.
Like, how do you start with a fight against what's his name? Against
Scared. Because something that you can't understand is taking place right before your eyes. Let's not waste any more time. Honestly, I'm just so sick of your crap. I'll show you.
Aizen. I was like scouring for my name. Oh, that's Final Zangetsu. It's a weird trailer, though. It's cool. It's just a weird trailer. And I'm going to keep saying the same thing I've always said about the Bandai Namco anime games. They could make them so much better. And the games would probably sell even more. And I'm not saying the games are bad. I just, like, a lot of them end up being cookie cutter. Like, all the Naruto games. Like, you know, come on. Like, or, whatchamacallit? Demon Slayer. Like, I was a bit disappointed with Demon Slayer. No, I know it's not the first trailer. No, I know it's not. But I'm just saying, like, they look really cool, but they often are like, they always feel cookie cutter. They're the same, like, arena-based fighter. They look like they're on the same engines, all of them.
Let's do this. It'll be over real quick.
I just find it funny that they're showing the final Getsuga Tensho, like, in the trailer. But overall, it still looks cool. It still looks cool. And Bleach is, like I said, it's a game. I don't remember having like a good Bleach game. Like I remember there was like a tactical RPG Bleach game on like the DS or the 3DS or something that I played, and it was terrible. It was really not good, and I was super disappointed. Let's see if there's anything good. Oh, I'm so tired of having news shit here. Can I just see stuff I want to see? Topaz, you're being a pain in the ass. Anyway. Oh man, Silk Song. Can you like can you imagine if they announced that at the Switch 2 like announcement thing? Insane. Insane. Oh, Toto, relax. Okay. Toto's been a big pain in the nuts because I can't see the chat. She was standing like right in front of the chat. You'll be waiting on Silk Song. Yeah, man. Silk Song, when it comes out, is going to be a definite long play game. I'm going to try to do that a little more often and play through full games. I know I said it before, just like I wanted to do Monster Hunter, and I still do. And I still plan on doing some late night streams for Monster Hunter. My plans just got derailed by so many freaking games. And the worst is they're not games for this week. They're games for next week. So I have like 3 games already finished and ready to review for next week. And I just got super tired because of all that. Okay, man. Hey, I think we're going to call it here for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Last time we're going to talk economics. Okay, now I know I promised it a couple of times, but last time, because I showed the basic plan of like how it works, so that which I really like. I'm like, dude, I have to do it just once, and I wasn't planning on doing it tonight, but I'm like, yeah. But yeah, I heard you and Bear have been grinding hard, man. I'm like a little jealous. I wish I was like out of the story already. So have a great night, guys. Enjoyed having you all here. And as usual, hope I'll see all of you guys in my next video. Have a great one, man. I think there is going to be a physical release for Blade Chimera. Tales of Iron 2 as well. But I can't tell you off the top of my head when it's going to be buggy. Okay? But if you come to the next stream, show up, I can check out for you if I don't think before then. Okay? Have a great one, guys. Have a great evening.